For context, I, 25 female, have a niece, Bella, pre-tween female, and a nephew, Michael, tween male. They're my brother Alex's kids. I love them both, but I have a much closer relationship with Bella. Michael is a good kid, but he's a ticking time bomb. He's absolutely uncontrollable. I'm his aunt and I love him, but I really can't have him around for long. The last time he was in our house, he poured my nail polish collection onto my wife's favourite silk Persian carpet, and that isn't even 1% of the damage he's done. My wife, 27, and I recently bought a villa out of town. It has a game room, pool, and many things Bella adores. So we offered to give her a tour of the place and let her check out the rose garden there if Alex and his wife agreed. Alex said both Michael and Bella were to be included, or neither was going. My wife and I both insisted on only taking Bella, but he wasn't having it, so we said we'd just go by ourselves. Alex got really mad at us and said it was disgusting that we favoured Bella because she was a girl and that we were both hypocritical and unfair to Michael and never included him in our plans. I told my brother that Michael was an uncontrollable kid. He dared to ask what Michael had done. I told him I'd let him know. I've told him the items over the years as it happened, but he always said it was an accident and that Michael's a boy and boys play rough. I made a table including every item my nephew damaged in our house and the estimated cost. It included a few of my wife's antique vases, her glass statue of the Eiffel Tower, carpet, several of my wife's crystal decorative items, and 2 phones. He flushed them down the toilet. Even the mirror of my car. I sent the list to Alex. He's now extremely angry with me and thinks I'm arrogant and taking after my wife's trait of being an uptight rich kid. So I'm not talking to him at the moment. Was what I did idiot territory? No way what you did was idiot territory. I thought maybe you kept a list of everything you'd broken next to your heart to bring out at all times. Instead, he opted to play dumb, so you were 100% right to bring up every situation you could remember at that point. Plus, the kid is a tween. I don't know when all of these instances happened, but I can trust my toddler with additional needs not to touch my nail polish or flush random objects down the toilet. I'd be embarrassed if I hadn't mastered the don't trash the house skill by young grammar school age, and mortified if this was still happening as a tween. OP, he asked. Not your fault he doesn't like the answer. I grew up with 5 brothers. Michael has broken more stuff than we all did combined. Also, boys play rough because they're allowed to. Girls get in much more trouble for that sort of play and are directed away from it. It's not some immutable law of gender, it's just children being children. Agree, it's usually more about the parents. The girls themselves might be fine getting rough. The boys might be fine being quiet. The parents are the ones who tend to stop that, and when people say girls mature faster, what they really mean is that basically no parent makes excuses like this when it's a tween girl making destructive messes everywhere. Consequences are what make a kid mature. Simple as that. While I understand your brother's point about both kids or none, and I agree in most cases this is not the same, so long as you're not leaving out any damages your niece has done, this clearly isn't about a gender preference. This is more of an actions have consequences situation. While it might feel unfair to Michael, this is the opportunity for his parents to teach him to behave better in other people's homes. I also don't think it would be fair for the niece to be denied things due to her brother's behaviour. The easiest solution would be to say, Michael can come, but you need to come too then and be responsible for making sure nothing gets broken. Oh, and security deposit in cash. But I wonder where his behaviour started. If the parents are talking about how stuck-up OP is for having stuff and joking about what if it got broken, the kid may not understand that he's misbehaving, especially if the parents are talking about rich people whining about their stuff after OP informs them that the kid ruined something. My nearly adult female sister, 24, is getting married in the fall. When she and her fiancé started planning things a few weeks ago, they said it would be no kids. I initially didn't think anything of that. I assumed she meant 13 plus or something like that. That was weird though, because she never came to me about anything wedding related like she did with the rest of the family. So last week, I asked her if she needed help with anything and asked if she wanted me to wear a specific dress or something like that. She said no, why would I? I'm not going. She explained that no kids meant no kids, no exceptions, so I was too young by 3 months to attend. I was really hurt by that and told our parents. They didn't know I wasn't invited, so my dad told her either she let me come or she wasn't going to get their half of the money. She did invite me, but she made a big show of how she didn't want me there. So I said, screw it, don't bother. Since she doesn't want me there, I won't be. She just shouldn't expect things to return to normal afterward. We used to be close and we texted a lot even after she moved out. Not anymore though. I blocked her on everything and I'm not speaking to her. I don't know if our relationship can recover from this, but if we do, it's going to be up to her to fix it. My parents say I'm overreacting, but this really hurt me. Not the idiot. 3 months shy of 18? Nah, your sister is something else. Let her explain to the whole family why you're not there. You are absolutely not overreacting. I don't understand why she would do this if you girls had a good relationship. Is it just the two of you? Are there any other siblings? If there are, how do they feel about this? Is it possible your future brother-in-law doesn't like you? That he could be the reason why she's acting this way? Whatever happens, whether you decide to actually go or not, after all her theatrics, keep your head high. You've acted in such a mature way. I hope your parents don't force you into going after all of this. Yeah, but the problem now is that Bridezilla can now say, but my sister was invited, she just didn't come because we forgot to put her name on the invite. She'll likely attempt to spin it to avoid looking like a meanie. Child-free refers to younger children who need supervision, not nearly adult people. Also, typically exceptions to that rule are made for literal siblings and/or children of the bride and groom. This seems really bizarre. I understand child-free weddings, but I truly do not understand why she wouldn't invite her sister if you were really that close. She's having the best day of her life and is actively telling you you can't be part of it and can only begrudgingly come because she won't get money if you can't. That's selfish and greedy. Is there any reason to consider her fiancé talked her into not making an exception for you? Is your sister concerned you may outshine her? Maybe. He doesn't like me, but he's never come off as controlling. I don't really know. My parents say she feels bad, but she hasn't shown up or tried to apologize through them. Your sister's future husband doesn't like you. This is relevant, I think. It makes your sister's conduct even worse. If the whole child-free pretext is, well, a pretext not to invite you because her future husband doesn't want you there, it's even more unforgivable. She is definitely too immature to get married. I, 20 male, finished my second year of college and I have a sister, teen, who finished 11th grade and a brother, 26. My brother has a prestigious high-paying software job and lives a great life. He did well in college and got a bachelor's and master's degree in computer science. And my sister is actively involved in a bunch of clubs at school, got gymnastics and piano awards, does well academically, and is going to work at a restaurant over the summer. But I struggled last year, dropping my GPA from 3.8 to 3.6. My major is architecture, and it's just that the studios are so long and hard, plus I need help in physics. I didn't get any summer internships, so I'm taking summer classes. This summer I'll be commuting to school 3 days a week, requiring gas, parking and insurance, which my parents help pay for. But it costs a lot of money, so they aren't too happy about it. Also, because of my classes, I won't be able to help around much at home with chores. Other family members will have to do more chores inevitably. Of course, my parents already talk about that themselves, and when I overhear their conversation, they talk about how I'm a burden who does nothing useful. Earlier today, my parents said I should be like my brother, who excelled in college and makes 6 figures. I said that I was trying my hardest and that some classes, like physics or certain architecture courses, are very difficult. Often I spend entire days in the studio and thus didn't really have a social life. They pointed out that my sister is very social, still does well academically, and even got a summer job. I felt terrible and told them internships are hard to come by and that recruiters prefer 3rd years and up over 1st and 2nd years. Then my dad said that my brother got internships starting his 2nd year because he's smarter and more hardworking than me. That made me really mad, so I said that I do work very hard and that intelligence is partly genetic. Both my parents got mad at me and told me to be more like my siblings. I couldn't contain it anymore, so I screamed that I was not the black sheep of the family and that they needed to stop treating me as such. I told them I didn't appreciate being called a burden and that everyone goes at their own pace. However, my mom said that I asked to be treated like this because I didn't work hard enough in school, which I did, despite being in a brutal major. I stopped talking to my parents after this incident about 2 hours ago, and I just isolated myself in my room, crying. Not the idiot. Comparison is the thief of joy. My heart broke for OP. Like, holy crap, he has a 3.6 GPA and his parents aren't happy. He's the black sheep. Jesus, that poor kid. OP, you are smart. You are worthy. You probably have an awesome personality too, and I can see how down to earth you are. Your parents are absolute idiots for not being proud of you. They value their children over superficial and trivial crap. I couldn't care how much money someone makes. Your parents care about crap no one else will ever care about. Hang in there. Few years and you're independent. No parent should make their children feel stupid or compared with siblings. Way to put wedges in their relationship and destroy someone's self-esteem. So counterproductive if you want your child to succeed in life. I guess intelligence is not that genetic because your parents don't sound smart at all. Also, someone doing well academically is not necessarily smart. I know enough dumb doctors or engineers to prove this point. I have a nephew Sean, 21, and a niece Tara, teen. I love playing the piano, and when Sean was younger he asked me to teach him. I tried to do it, but he was a very slow learner and I didn't have the patience, so I told him to go to his dad to sign him up for a piano class. A while ago, Tara asked me to teach her how to play the piano, and in a very short time she learned a lot, even faster and better than I expected, so I've been teaching her and we both enjoy it very much. When Sean found out, he sarcastically told her that I was going to get tired of her and stop teaching her after a few weeks. I told him that actually we've been doing this for a few months now and she's doing very well, so I will keep teaching her. He asked me why I didn't teach him, and I was honest and told him he didn't have much talent and I didn't have much patience to deal with him. He thinks I'm an idiot, so I want to know if I am. You are the idiot simply for the way you handled it. You could have said at the time you couldn't handle the demands of piano tutoring instead of telling him that he lacked the talent to the point where you couldn't be bothered to continue. And if he actually took piano classes elsewhere, you should have encouraged him. I'm sorry, but OP lacked the talent to teach someone properly. It wasn't that nephew had no talent, it was just that he was a slow learner, and OP lacked the patience to teach him. So OP is the idiot for blaming the nephew for their decision not to teach him because OP was lazy, not because the nephew wasn't good enough. The slow learner indicates that he was learning, it was just taking longer than OP expected, and OP gave up before the nephew did. I have two brothers, Dixon and Bobby, who are 2 years apart. When Dixon learned to drive, I tried to help him once. He was rude, didn't listen, and scared the crap out of me. I also thought he might crash my car, but I told my dad, he needs a professional teacher, I'm not going to teach him how to drive. Bobby was the exact opposite of Dixon. He was respectful, asked questions, listened, and read the damn manual. He was a delight to teach. When he took his test, he used my car. I let him borrow it a few times when he had a date. Again, he was a delight to teach. Dixon was hurt when he found out I taught Bobby. I was honest with him and said, you needed someone with more experience to teach you. I would rather not put our relationship through a nightmare for no reason. When he asked to borrow the car, I told him no because he crashed his own car and mistreated my parents' vehicle. But I never said it in a way that implied he was a waste of time and not worth the hassle. He is a human being, and just because he isn't good at a certain skill doesn't make him pathetic or irritating. I didn't feel like I could help you learn the piano. You need more time than I had. You needed a better teacher than I was. You can tell the truth without it being sharpened with malice. You crushed that kid and his motivation for learning the piano, and now you should try to fix this. My husband and I have both sets of parents living in the same city as us. We decided to have a weekly dinner with each set of parents so that we could see them regularly. My parents get Saturday night. My sister, her husband and daughter also live in the same city and come to my parents' house on Saturday so that we can all hang out. My mother-in-law and father-in-law get Friday nights. We spend our Friday evenings with them either at their house or ours. For a while now, my mother-in-law has been complaining about us giving my parents Saturday evenings. She thinks we're favouring my parents by giving them Saturdays. Her reason for wanting Saturdays is that it's one of her days off, and she would have more time to prepare a meal for us. She wants to relax all day and then have us come over. Currently, my parents live 35 minutes away from us on a good traffic day. If we were to go on any weekday evening, it would take us upwards of 50 minutes to an hour to get there. My in-laws live 10 minutes away from us, so it's much easier to go over on a weekday. My mom does a fast for religious reasons every Friday and has for as long as I can remember. She only eats specific foods and has a meal about midday. Therefore, if we were to go over to my parents' house on Friday, she would just have to watch us eat. Also, we can't give my parents Sunday because we go to temple in the evenings. We spend the same amount of time at each parent's house. We don't go to my parents' house on Saturday and spend the whole day with them. We go there for dinner about 2 hours and do the exact same thing with my in-laws but on Friday and for the same amount of time. I gave it a try though. Recently we have given my in-laws Saturday nights every few weeks. Never has dinner been made nor any sort of special meal my mother-in-law claimed she needed the time for. I'm in the kitchen still helping her to cook every meal once we get there. We spend the same time there as we would if it were a Friday night. Everything is absolutely the same. This past week she complained again and I refused to give her Saturday. My husband agrees with my reasonings, but he feels bad for her and thinks we should just do it for her. He thinks that I shouldn't be holding on to this too much. I should just deal with the driving and my mom not eating and go to my parents on Friday, even though Saturdays also work for my sister. So I get to see my whole family at once. He thinks I'm an idiot for not considering her feelings and not going to their house this past Saturday. I think the way things are, Fridays for my in-laws and Saturdays for my parents, makes it possible for us to have dinner and spend time with everyone, which was the point of all this in the first place. Am I the idiot for not giving my mother-in-law Saturday dinners? Do you and your husband ever get time together for date nights? You're spending Friday with your in-laws, Saturday with your parents, and temple on Sunday. Where's the time for you and your husband and nurturing your marriage? Regardless, not the idiot, but weekly dinners? That's a lot of family time. Completely agree with you. Do they even have any other friends? This is way too much time with parents and in-laws when I think their friends must be like, hey, do you ever want to hang out with us? Dial that way back to once a month on varying nights. If it were my mom, I'd probably say, you know what, let's not do any dinners for a while because it's taking too much off my nerves right now. You see it, right? Keeping things as are makes more people happy. Switching means only mother-in-law is happy, and that is what your husband is suggesting. Just so we both are clear, your husband is choosing his mother's happiness, even as you said you do the same things and actually have to help cook when mother-in-law gets Saturday, yet your husband still wants to give in and give his mother what she wants. Honey, you have a husband problem.